The Treehouse by Amanda Acker. My name is Asher Clemmings, and I would like to tell you a story about the summer whenever I turned 10 and the world's largest treehouse. It was a chilly spring morning as I sat at the bus stop waiting for the bus to arrive to take me to school. I was especially excited on this Friday morning because it was not only Friday, but it was the last day of school before we got out of school for a week for spring break. Yes, a whole week off of school. It was all I could think about as I sat quietly repeating in my head, one more day, just one more day. Then my concentration was broken due to bickering from others who were waiting on the bus. I overheard them saying something about a treehouse that someone was building. "I hear it's old man Burgess building it," said a little girl from sitting across from me. "I hear he said that God talked to him and told him to build it," said another little boy. "My mom says that God don't tell people to build tree houses," said the red-headed girl. "In church they say that God works in mysterious ways, so I don't see why he couldn't tell someone to build a tree house," the little girl across from me voiced. "Yeah, why not?" the little boy voiced harshly back. I'm not sure why they were so focused on the man that was building the tree house, nor why they were arguing about whether or not God told him to do it. I myself could care less if he was talking to God, or just plain crazy. I am just excited to see a tree house, a real handmade tree house. I have asked my dad to build one for years, but he is always too busy with work to be able to. Maybe I can go by old man Burgess's house over spring break, I thought. That is if my mom will agree to take me there, since he lives on the outskirts of town. It's quite a distance from my home. It was all I could think about as the school bus came to a stop in front of me. When I got home that afternoon, I begged and begged and begged my mom to let Devin stay the night, and then I begged and begged and begged for her to take us to the treehouse. She finally gave in and agreed. We turned off the paved road onto a narrow dirt road that led deep into the woods. When we arrived at the treehouse, the first thing that we saw was a handmade wooden cross that stood in front of a large gate. My mother has known Burgess for years, so she politely asked if it was okay for us to stay while she completed errands. He said that he could use the help anyway, so it was no problem. When my mother returned from her shopping trip, Mr. Burgess asked if it would be okay for me and Devin to spend the summers helping him build the tree. We spent the next several summers there helping Mr. Burgess. As we got older, Devin and I did not spend as much time at the treehouse. However, the treehouse had by this time grown to 97 foot tall with over 80 rooms, and Mr. Burgess had only spent about $12,000 to build it. The treehouse was now known worldwide as the largest treehouse in the world, and close to 1,000 people a week came to visit. In 2012, the treehouse was closed by the fire marshal. I went home last week to view that treehouse one last time. Mr. Burgess took me on a private tour. Everything about the entrance was the same, but the treehouse was nowhere near as it was 20 years ago. It did not only span across the one tree, but now across 6. It had a large bell tower that sat on top that overlooked a garden that said Jesus. It had swings and chairs and statues and pictures hanging on the wall. I would have never thought in a million years that it would have grown to such a sight.